How's it going, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? This is your host, Low Tier Hero from Team Draw Phase, and today we have a counter guide for going first and for going second against the new meta that's coming into effect tomorrow on Master Duel, and that is the Sprite meta. I personally believe that sprites are going to overtake the format similar to how Mathmech did. Mathmech came out of nowhere and they literally jumped all the way from Rogue to tier 1 within a matter of days. Now I expect the same treatment will occur with Sprite because we're getting Sprite in Master Duel and we are not getting Tearlaments. So it is different with how it was in TCG where we got Sprites and Tearlaments in the same set. Here on Master Duel we are only getting Sprite. So I wanted to create this format guide, this counter guide and a reference point so that you as a new duelist or as an experienced duelist needs to create a new system to defeat the sprites. This is what I would hope would be a starting point for you. Now, to defeat Sprite, it's important to understand their strategy, which revolves around level 2 monsters. Sprite monsters in the main deck can be special summoned for free from the hand if you control any level 2 monster. This means that Sprite decks usually run a lot of level 2 monsters, and they use these monsters to swarm the field to make powerful extra deck monsters. If you are going first to defeat Sprite, you will need to consider testing your strategy and figuring out chemistry with new cards that will help you defeat the meta. As you can see here on the video, there are several cards that are very safe to play in the next format since they're all easy to use and very flexible. This includes DD Crow, Psyframe Gear Gamma, Ash Blossom, Effect Veiler, and Infinite Impermanence. These cards can be played against a wide variety of decks and they're particularly effective against Sprite. The only thing that I can point out is Effect Veiler and Infinite Impermanence. They are a solid choice against Sprite, but the targeting effect negation doesn't impact the core Sprite combo as much if they drew another extender. The most effective interaction would probably be to once again negate the Gigantic Sprite. The Gigantic Sprite is one of the biggest choke points for Sprite itself, or to combine your negations with another powerful card so that your Veiler or your Impermanence can negate their Sprite Carrot or Sprite Red, preventing the upscaling of the Sprite's board. Going first, you also want to consider playing Floodgates. Floodgates tied to levels are very good against Sprite, but they're not as impactful in other matchups unless you're facing decks that also revolve around similar mechanics. So the only two decks that I can really think of, Sword Soul, and this one is a bit of a reach. It is branded. Continuous trap cards like And the Band Played On and Stygian Dirge are very impactful and harmful for the Sprite player because the deck revolves around level 2 monsters. Stygian Dirge is a one-sided floodgate that reduces all of your opponent's monsters by 1 level. Since Sprites specifically need a level 2 on board for their special summons, reducing them to level 1 stops the deck from achieving many of its normal functions. And the Band Played On stops both players from summoning monsters with the same level. So once Sprites have a level 2 on board, they can't summon another one. It's also good against Sword Soul 2 where it'll keep Sword Soul Moye and Sword Soul Taya from summoning their level 4 tuner. So that token won't be coming out. It's an indirect hit to another tier 1 strategy. Weirdly enough, as I mentioned this before, these two continuous trap cards can also stop some of the branded fusions. And we're talking about the Mirror Jade, the Masquerade, and the Despian Quaridus. I don't know if I pronounced that name right or wrong, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about with the amount of branded Despia decks on Master Duel. You've already seen all 3 of these cards on the board. Now, the Band Plays On stops them from having multiple level 8 fusions on the field and even keeps them from using some of their level 8 fusions to summon another one. So these are pretty good cards. Other notable cards for going first would be Gozen Match and Deck Devastation Virus. The problem with Gozen Match is that it's weak against branded Labyrinth, Eldritch, Dinomorphia, a lot of tier 2 strategies. I think it might even be weak against Mathmech because they may be all lights. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But Gozen Match still also hurts Sword Soul, which is always good. I have become a huge Sword Soul hater. The deck is amazing and it's very strong. It's a great strategy, but I do not like playing against it because it is so resilient. No hate, it's all love. But I'm just, venting a little bit here. And the thing about Deck Devastation Virus is that it is best used in a dark deck. So I think the best deck that can utilize this, and it is a deck that still has an amazing strategy moving forward, even post sprites, is Labyrinth. Labyrinth can go crazy with this deck, and the fact that sprites run very little monsters with very low attack, I'm talking about Deck Devastation literally bringing that devastation to sprite players. If you are going second using generic power spells that monsters can't respond to, such as Dark Ruler No More, Forbidden Droplet, Super Polymerization, and Ultimate Slayer can be the most impactful cards against Sprite and possibly even the best cards against Sprite. Hand traps like Nibiru the Primal Being may not be as effective as Sprite has a card called, as I mentioned, the biggest choke point, Gigantic Sprite, that can special summon a level 2 monster and limit both players to level 2 monsters for the turn. It is also important to note that Sprite decks can have a strong board presence, so these next 3 cards are honorable mentions that you can utilize as well going second. And those cards are Lightning Storm, Raigeki, and Dark Hole. I keep preaching this in every video, but all of the tier 1 and tier 2 decks, most of the tier 2 decks, but for sure most of the tier 1 decks, they all lose to board wipes. Most of these cards and most of these strategies do not have a response to board wipes. So I keep telling you folks, these board wipe cards are crucial. So if you can run them, you should run them. But there you have it folks. This is a quick and brief counter guide on how you can defeat sprites in the upcoming format if you are going first, and how to defeat sprites if you are going second. If you have better text, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. If you don't like certain cards that I posted up on here, or you think that certain cards are better over the others, again, as always, I am open to constructive criticism and engaging in conversation with anybody in the community that is willing to communicate with me. As always, this is Low Tier Hero. Let's go ahead and get ready for that new format that's literally going to come out in the next few hours. I am excited. I'm sure you're excited. Let's go ahead and get ready and let's check out this counter guide so that we are prepared and don't get caught lacking. As always, Low Tier Hero. If you like the video, comment, subscribe, like, share. It's all completely free. Take care and good luck, duelists.